Pursuing Capital.
All right, everyone, welcome back.
Okay.
Episode 5 of Pursuing Capital. We have a great topic for you guys today. We're going to be discussing cold calling and how to make more online sales the easy way. Great topics for you guys. And I'm with my partner here.
Yes.
Shan Madavan.
Let's go. Interesting topics. I'm excited to get into this, man. What do you want to start with?
We're going to start with, is cold calling dead? This is a big topic right now. I see a lot of articles talking about this on LinkedIn. I Googled it the other day and Google searches came up with a whole bunch of articles as well. It seems like a lot of people actually think cold calling is dead. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, at previous jobs where we worked at colleagues before, we built huge, 6-figure books off of just cold calling. What is your opinion? Is cold calling dead?
Cold calling is absolutely not dead. I feel like a lot of these ads and articles that come up is because some of these businesses that want to move towards a more digital online based marketing kind of like shit on that for the right reasons so that they can look a lot better. And it's like our product is working, our resources are working. But if you're a business and you're only doing cold calling, then your chances of success are going to be just based on cold calling. So it's important to realize that like a combination of marketing is always important for any business. But, depending on what your business is in, cold calling should always be an important factor to consider. Whether it's, there's a lot of companies that don't really require cold calling. Like, if you're selling clothing to like retailers or consumers that are retailers, you don't really need to cold call everybody and say, I got a new pair of jeans, right? There's different efficient ways, email, subscriptions, whatever the case may be. But with a niche business like Nova FX, you have to cold call. And the reason why is you're getting in touch with the decision maker, you're building rapport, you're building relationship. And on top of that, there's so many other avenues that we can get into. But without cold calling a business like Nova FX, there's no way that we're going to see at least 35-40% of our sales has to come through cold calling.
Right.
And then from there, we move to obviously and I personally feel that the keys to the vault is when you build those relationships and you start your referral program where you're consistently talking to your customers, asking them for referrals. That's when you're able to take it from, 10, 20 clients and then getting one client from each. It's just a snowball effect, right?
Right. Definitely.
Yeah.
And I guess because why a lot of people think cold calling is dead. And okay, guys, for everybody watching, make sure you like and subscribe to this video because we're going to hit you with some facts here.
Facts.
A lot of people think cold calling is dead because you know what actually is dead? Hard work. Hard work
true.
Died a long time ago, and everybody expects, you to be able to make a lot of money really, really easily. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't actually work like that. Nobody wants to actually call on a phone and speak to someone and do it the hard way. We just kind of want to make online sales really easy or to make sales really easy. But there are some actual businesses that, especially for you, Nova FX, when you're dealing with, multi-million-dollar currency deals going back and forth and sending international payments around the world, guess what? You're going to have to speak to somebody because nobody is going to do $1 million US deal with you and send it halfway around the world without speaking to you first. Mm-hmm. So there are times when you do have to get on the phone. And when you make that cold call, that introduction, I think a lot of people forget this as well. You're not trying to make a hard sell on call number 1. The cold call, which is the first call, because it's not a cold call, the second call after you've already spoke to him or her, that first cold call is just an intro. Your job on that first cold call is to email farm. Is to get their email so that you can send them a 1-page email brochure about your company. Mm-hmm. And that's all that you're doing. They have a chance to look over that at their own leisure. And then, you know what? If there's no action after you send that out, then you could get them on a drip campaign or something like that. But the most important thing is to get that email. And you know what? Schedule another time when you can give that person a call back to discuss further. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So that's all you're really doing. I think a lot of people kind of forgot about that. What do you have to add to that?
Exactly. I want to go back to the first statement that you brought up, which was a lot of people don't have the hard work. You got to realize even 10, 15 years ago, and this is after realizing that, okay, maybe we can get a high level of success doing cold calls for the business, that's a realization standpoint, right? Once you realize what are the best ways to market your business, and then you start to determine that maybe 50% of our marketing dollars and our effort as far as sales should go into cold calling. That's your first determination, right? After that, you got to understand that, for example, I showed you what happened yesterday. I made over 100 calls, and even making 100 calls is not enough. That was a span of maybe 3.5 hours. You got to understand that there's a repetition aspect to it. Making 250 calls, getting in touch with maybe 40 of them, right? The decision maker, and then out of the 40, maybe getting the interest. And it's a tough environment, right? Because you're going to see people that are already happy with their relationship. Some people that don't want to move away from the bank, especially for Nova FX. Some people that don't even have the time and don't want to consider it. So like you have to go through those responses, and then you're going to end up talking to maybe 10 people that say, I am interested in this. I'm using a bank. There might be value that you're able to show me. Send me an email. And then with everything else you said, that's when that process starts. Whether you're determining, for me at least, I start to determine if they're a buyer or a seller, what type of currencies they work with, who they're currently working with, because I have to identify the pain point, right? If not, I'm not having a realistic conversation where I'm able to show that I care about the person that I'm having a conversation with, right? But that's like a whole different ballgame. Now we're talking about the sales cycle, right? But as far as cold calls, you can't see success in a week. You can't base, you need to at least do it for 6 to 8 months to then look back at your efforts and be like, okay, is this really working for me?
Right.
Am I good at, then you got to look at yourself and be like, am I a good cold caller, right? Do you have the mental capability of taking 100, 200 calls? That's a lot of calls, man.
Right.
You get drained.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I guess when you're also cold calling as well, the one thing I like about it, and the one thing that I kind of want to push on to other people to start doing more cold calls for your business. If there's a need for doing cold calls, like if you have personalized services and stuff like that for individuals, obviously, as you said, if you're selling jeans, you're probably not doing cold calls, but there are certain things like currency exchange services and things like that when you might need to do cold calls. So, when we talk about stuff like that, is you can be whoever you want to be on the phone.
Yeah, it's true.
No, people can't see you. They don't know who you are. You can be whoever you want to be, on the phone. You could put on whatever kind of persona. You could be someone totally different. If you ever wanted to act out or live a different life, a different alter ego, cold calling on the phone is for you, because you can be the boss. You can be the man.
Absolutely.
You can be whoever you want to be over the phone. And I think people really need to understand that, because a lot of people are afraid to pick up the phone. Oh, I'm scared to pick up the phone. I'm going to get hung up on. Who cares? Are you ever going to see that person?
Yeah.
Are you ever going to meet that person? Who cares if they hang up? Dial again. You had 20 people hang up, dial again.
Yeah.
Be someone else on the phone.
Exactly.
Change your script on the phone.
Yeah.
You can be a totally different person.
Yep.
And so people really need to take advantage of that and, pick up the phone, make some calls, have 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 people hang up on you. And if that didn't work, change your script, change your persona over the phone.
You have to be able to.
If the soft touch is not working, come with the aggressive touch. Come with the hard touch, right? Find something that works, because if you can master cold calling, you are going to be an absolute mastermind in everything else. It is that important of a skill, because if you can sell someone over the phone from 200 miles away, you could sell someone on anything at that point.
Yeah. And usually cold calling is the easiest. Well, not the easiest, but as far as having that conversation with the person and saying, hey, this is the reason why I'm calling. I'm not making a sale. I don't want to make a sale. I just want to see if any of our products or services can bring some value to your company. Can I just send you an email? Right? Can I just send you some information? Right? Can I maybe follow up in a couple of weeks? Right? And is this something that you would actually consider to see if it's a benefit? Like, it's about asking the right questions to see, okay, because like you don't want to just get somebody's email just because they're giving it to you. You want to make sure that there's a requirement that your service can actually benefit the company. And like you said, like the aggressiveness and the softness, it's all about who you're calling. And the more
100%.
The more, is it EQ or IQ for this? I think it's EQ, emotional intelligence, that you would need, right? And it's like, if you're able to kind of just by the first 15, 20 seconds here, if you're talking to somebody that's so busy that doesn't want to be on the line, and because of that, you're like, hey, real quick, I don't want to waste your time, right? And they respond to that because they're like, this guy appreciates the fact that my time is valuable. Or if you're talking to someone that's very soft spoken, it's a lady, it's an accountant. Hi, how are you? And then you're like, hey, you just can't do that, right?
You have to match that person's energy and feel what that person's coming from.
Exactly. And like you said, it's that personality. You can be whoever you want. That's why a lot of like these, and again, bro, like there are companies where you're hired just to do cold calling. We're talking to businesses, right? Who, like, even for the previous business and this business that I'm working right now, I'm doing everything 360. I'm doing the cold calling. And then I'm also realizing that there's so much other aspects to marketing that I need to focus on: having a good website, a clean website, having, IG content, social media content that we're going to get into. But that aspect, I've started to realize it's at least 40% of the pie, because I'm not just cold calling businesses. Now I'm cold calling accounting firms that work with small and medium-sized businesses. And then I'm approaching them where it's like, hey, can we show Nova FX as a value-added service with your accounting firm, right? If you can close something like that, that's like 30, 40, 50 businesses that every partner is working with. Imagine going to a law firm with 30 partners, right? So you got to think outside of the box sometimes too, because it's like, yeah, maybe cold calling every business, if you're doing B2B or B2C, yeah, maybe cold calling business to business is effective, but what if you spent 20% of your time cold calling Chamber of Commerce's, 20% of your time cold calling accounting firms, law firms, real estate firms, and then the other 50% just directly business? So that's also important as far as like, who should I be calling? Is my time more effective calling, this person 50% of the time or that person, right?
Right.
And
absolutely, yeah. Glad that you touched on that, because you can cold call individual businesses, or you can cold call networks, right? An accounting firm is a network because they have a lot of clients, and you could position yourself as a value-added service for that particular business. So now you don't just get to possibly interact with that one company, you get to interact with all the other clients that are underneath that company, right? And so this is where referral agreements come into play here. And so where you focus the power of your cold calling can dramatically change your sales success. Because I'll tell you what, when you're coming from just doing a super cold call and you're calling an individual business, that business doesn't know who you are. Right? So you still have a little bit of legwork to go. You might have 2 or 3 calls, have to send a couple brochures back and forth, a couple drip campaigns back and forth, right? When you call a business that has clients under them and you're looking for a networking partnership or a referral agreement, that type of thing, once you get that accounting firm to agree to that, say if there's some kickbacks for them or some value-added service for them, so they're happy to do it for their own clients, what ends up happening is when that accounting firm reaches down to their clients and tells them about that value-added service that this new company has, it's an easy sell because they already do business with the accounting firm. So whatever that accounting firm is going to recommend, they're going to do, right? And so it ends up being easier. And so that if you focus your cold calling on, networking and referral agreements for your business, you can actually be more successful and the sales will be a whole lot easier, right? And so exactly as you said, it's just, where do you focus that energy? And I'm glad that we touched on this because I've been seeing a lot of content out there. Every time I see is cold calling dead, I just think of all the money I make cold calling, and it's bloody ridiculous. So no, cold calling is not dead.
See, and that's the thing, like, we can talk about cold calling for the next 45 minutes, right? And we just determined that every business is going to be different. Every business is going to be unique to a point where, maybe calling networks might not be as efficient as just talking to your businesses directly, right? And it's very rarely the case because you've got so much more in your funnel coming in when there's one business that has 500-600 businesses already accessible and where that introduction is super lukewarm, right? But like that's just one portion of it. You still have to go through that entire sales cycle, right? And that's for me personally in my business, that's where the fun is. Like for me, that's where I take as a challenge. If I very soon I want to outsource my cold calling, in the next 6 months, hopefully. But for the time being, I just want to learn it as much as I can within the company so that I can delegate it the right way. But yeah, if I can just focus on the sales cycle and finding out and determining where my current lead is, what their status is, warm, cold, hot. Every company has different terms that they use, obviously. But that's where true salesmanship is built, man. Like being able to close, identify who you're talking to, and then from there building a relationship, a rapport. And then you got 100 of those clients and you can get one referral from each of those clients. It's over. And you just keep going. Just one. Just keep going, right?
Yep.
Have the next 100 give you another one, and you don't even have to cold call at that point. You can outsource everything and whatever comes in. And yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Now that we talked about that, I want to move on here. So, in case cold calling isn't relevant for your business, we're going to talk about now just the online sales process in itself. So, anybody running an online store where they're selling any kind of product or service, you guys are going to take a lot of value from this. So please make sure you like this video and subscribe, because we're the only ones out here on whatever avenue that you're listening to, giving you pure facts.
Pursuing capital.
We don't have to, stock this place with a whole bunch of women to get your attention. Facts. Because we're making you money. Okay? So pay attention.
Let's go.
Online sales process. All right. So I think when we first started for our online-based businesses, where cold calling probably wasn't going to be relevant, we had to kind of figure this out. And I think a lot of people make the mistake when they get into online sales, running an online shop for products and services. They kind of don't go through these steps. They haven't really, they just kind of, I think I'll just, open an online shop and run a couple Insta ads and I should be making sales. And everybody figures out the hard way, I'm not making sales. What's going on? So I think we have to, kind of take it back a step and say, when you purchase products and services online, what are the things that you do? Right. Yep. And I think that when we thought about this, we came to
That's the number one thing I thought about
of realizations of the way that we shop online.
Yep.
And there's really five steps. I'm just going to go through these 5 steps quickly, and then we're going to tell you how to implement and how to actually take on each individual step to make sure that you guys are getting online sales. Okay. So there's usually, 4 or 5 real major points. Okay. The first is when you arrive on the company website. So you might look for a product or service from this website, or you might have just Googled, I need this product. And this is one of the websites that came up in those first 10 searches. Okay. When you arrive on the website, you're going to search around the site, right? You want to see the feel. Does it look professional? Did they spend a lot of money on this website, or did they spend $10? When you scroll to the bottom, does it say Squarespace site? Does it say whatever site? Like, have they not paid for the premium platform to get that company branding 100%. Off yet? Right? Are there spelling errors? Right? If there's a spelling error on a site, especially on like the checkout cart, like if you're checking out and you're about to spend $100 and put your credit card on there and you see 5 or 6 spelling errors on there, that's a big no-go. Nothing says I don't want to spend my money like spelling errors on a damn checkout. Yep. I just get turned off immediately. Right? So that is super important. The second one is when I arrived on the site, I want to be gifted. I want to feel important. You know what I mean? I want there to be a pop-up that says, hey, you, Dalton, here's your 10% discount. Here's your 25% discount on your first purchase. Because you know what? I'm a millennial and I like to feel entitled. I'm entitled to a discount. You should be fucking glad that I showed up on the site today. Exactly. You know what I mean? Facts. So
I like that.
Make sure you have a pop-up that gives your potential customer a discount.
Yeah.
And that is important for another reason is because that person will have to give their email to get that discount. And you can shoot them out a discount or an email that says, here's your discount coupon. Welcome to the company, blah, blah, blah. And now you farm that person's email. Yeah. So in case they don't make the purchase now, you can run drip campaigns on them later. That's important. Number 3, when you arrive on the product or service page, there's one thing I think everybody's looking for. What is everybody else who's bought this product saying?
Yeah.
Where are the reviews? I can't stress enough how many sites I've been to purchase a particular product or service, and there's been no reviews, and I'm turned off immediately. Like, you have to have reviews. I mean, find whatever way, incentivize your other customers, your previous customers to leave reviews. Give them a 5% discount if they leave a review. Give them a 10% discount if they leave a review, right?
So important.
It's so important. Find a way for the people that have done business with you to leave reviews. There just has to be reviews there. Find a way to make it happen, because if there are no reviews, you're going to lose sales. Okay?
Yeah. And it's just as simple as asking, right? Like,
ask.
It's a matter of asking. I've seen some people put it right below their email. Right. So it's a direct link to the review page, and then you're just leaving a review. Yeah. So you can include that in your email, or you can just, as soon as you're finishing a transaction and you feel like it went really well and that the client is giving you compliments and just appreciating the fact that he found you, ask.
Exactly.
Right? Just like a referral, asking a referral.
Exactly.
Right?
For every sale you make, you should be getting a review. That's how you get these huge reviews on your product pages. 50, 100, 150, 200, 1,000, whatever it is. Every customer has to leave a review. You can make it even on the checkout. After a customer checks out and purchases, you send them an email. Thank you for your order. Here are details of your order, receipt. And below that, a little button that says, please leave a review for 10% on your next purchase. Yep. Oh, great. Because I'm not going to leave a review for free. I'm a millennial. I'm entitled. You owe me to leave a review.
Absolutely.
So there's your 10% discount to leave a review. Believe me, giving away 10% on that next sale is worth it, because the reviews are so worth it.
Everything is online, right?
Yeah.
It's like if somebody is coming in to look at your product or the services that you're offering, what are the first thing that they're going to do? They're going to check you on Google. As soon as Google pops up, if they can see your business and you've got 250 great reviews, they're going to make their decision right away. Yep. If you've got 2 reviews, they're going to be like, it looks like this guy doesn't really have great business, or nobody's approaching him, right? And you're leaving thought for like them to perceive who you are, what you are, because they can't make that decision based on some of the most simplest things that you can add to make your business effective.
Exactly. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's so important. There are a few, I think a lot of businesses have them now, but there's still a few that we see here and there. When you Google that person's business, so when you Google Nova FX, you got to Google my business profile. When you Google Bantencourt Capital, I have a Google my business profile, right? With its own Google reviews. So these are reviews that are not on the site itself. These are reviews that are on Google now. So they're 2 separate places you have reviews. You have reviews on your website, on the product page, and reviews on your Google My Business profile. That is so important. You could put your hours of business there, your website, directions, phone number, email, and it just makes it look really, really clean and looks like, gives it a professional sort of status.
Absolutely. What's the first thing that someone does when they want to know about you? It's on Google. That's it.
So if someone's Googling your company, guys, and you don't have a Google My Business profile, and for those that don't know what that is, when you type in a company name, it's that little square Google box that comes up with the company name. It usually shows a picture maybe of your business or some of your products. It's got your website, share, map, directions. That little profile card is your Google My Business profile. And you need to have that if you're doing online business, because it helps reassure a customer, right? Yep. So you have to have that. And another thing, as you said, Shan, when you want to know about a business, you Google them. So tell me, how does it look if you Google a business that you want to make a sale on? So say you're 75% of the way there, because your website is clean. You got no spelling errors, right? You got your 10% discount coupon, and you've given your email when you signed up. You have all sorts of reviews on your product page. You even have a Google My Business profile now, because we told you about it, and you have reviews on your Google My Business profile. But you Google the company, and there's no articles or anything or any media coverage on your company. How's that look?
I mean, if someone is particularly looking for, it's obviously better. It's much better, right? Depending on how it looks, if somebody's looking for that, then they're going to be like, okay, these guys aren't really out there.
They're not that big.
They're not that big. Yeah. So it's just perception, right? Like what do you want people to think about your company? Right. And you have to make that decision on whether you're going to hire a PR or you're going to find, publications yourself where you can release a few articles, Fox, CNBC, whether it's Market Watch, What would you do if it was skincare related? What kind of companies would you go for?
Skincare related, you got to go to all the skincare magazines.
Exactly.
You got to go to, I think it's Goop.
Yeah.
It's an online magazine. Allure.
Yeah. There you go.
All these ones. You have to hunt down all these skincare, brands or magazines and media.
Boom.
And you have to find a way to get in there. You have to find a way to get our article in there. I don't care what it takes.
It's all prospecting.
You need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you go after 10 of them, maybe 2 of them will be like, hey, if you guys pay us $150 or $250, we'll go ahead and release a publication on our website. And for you, it's got to be worth the investment, right?
Yep.
You got to think about it that in a way where it's like, will this make my company look better? Mm-hmm. And it certainly will. If it's the right type of PR, it certainly will.
Absolutely. You can pay $500 to take an article out in a major magazine, or you can pay $500 on a Louis V shirt. What does your dumbass want? You decide which pays more at the end of the day. You guys decide which pays more the end of the day.
That's
right?
That's it.
Maybe you don't even need to do that. You can either, do the old, find a scuttlebutt way of doing it where, befriend a writer for that magazine, cold call a writer for that magazine,
Absolutely.
Send a cold email to the writer of that magazine, befriend that person,
100%.
Tell them about your brand.
That's for cold calling. See?
Yeah. Pick up the phone. Hey, I have this great company. I think this is something that your magazine might really be interested in. I'm doing this and this and this, and nobody's really doing this right now. And I think your readers would really appreciate this.
Absolutely. Think about how we're getting, like even the last guest that was on the show, it was all through whether, you can do cold calling or just cold emailing or cold direct messages. All of that has to do with the skill that we're talking about, cold calling, right? Like because of that skill, I'm able to just approach people because I want an answer. And I don't just approach one person I hope he replies to me. I'm messaging at least 15 people, and then I might get a reply back from 4 or 5 people. And then from there, I'll be like, okay, these 3 seem like top candidates. And that's how I found our last guest, right? And it's the same thing with these publications. Yep. Like you said, Allure, a whole bunch of different magazines. And then from there, you reach out to like 15 of them. Yep. 5 will get back to you. 4 will have reasonable pricings. You might like 2 more because it's the niche that it's targeting is more related to the actual product that you're selling, right? Unless you just want to broadcast and you can shoot it out everywhere, right? Like,
absolutely.
But there's no point of a skincare company marketing at MarketWatch,
Correct.
Like, so it's like, you got to be thoughtful as far as like what you're approaching and why.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so it all comes down to like when you Google a company, you want to see that company has coverage somewhere. Yep. Some reputable business in that industry has covered that company, and that helps reassure your brand because those companies have millions and millions of readers. So if you can get it in there, pay $500 and you can get into any of these things. It's just a matter of money. Mm-hmm. It's just certain ones cost more money than others. Yep. But make the smart investment. If you're paying $500, even $1,000 to get 15 million viewers in a month on that article, man, honestly, you're a goof if you're spending that on a Gucci shirt, on a Louis Vuitton shirt. Like, you're a goof because you can make so much more money by spending that on your business and getting that readership, getting that view out there. Because honestly, this is why PR is so important, guys. It doesn't matter if you have the best product or service in the world if no one knows who you are.
Yep. Who the fuck you are. I'm like, we can curse in here, bro. Fuck that.
Can we?
And it's good, man, because like all of these points that you're talking about is effective marketing. It's a combination of marketing, right? Like people need to realize that back in the day, if you wanted to advertise something, you had the television, you had billboards, you had maybe newspapers and the radio, right? And when you're looking at marketing in the 70s, 60s, you had to have a lot of capital. Everything that we're talking about here is free. It's literally free. Like stacking up your Google reviews so that you have at least 250 to 500 reviews, making sure that your website, if somebody is coming to your website, are they aware just by looking at your logo? Can they recognize you by brand? Spelling mistakes, errors, right? And then the 10% coupon, all free. Right? It's like, it's just a quick pop up and you get a lead, right? And like you said, it's psychological. People feel like they're worthy of this
Yeah.
and they feel really deserved when, like, you know, it's a deserving, whatever the case you want to call it, but it's just nice, bro. Like, I feel like it's really smart. And then you got another point too, right?
Yep.
Cause there's like freaking 10 points that we can go through if we really wanted to.
Yeah. The last one comes down to, well, exactly what you just touched on is getting the email. So, if all that doesn't work, and I'm pretty sure that this will work, just those initial steps will get you more sales. I have no doubt about it. And once you have all those steps, the last step is really just rehashing that so that eventually, if you don't get that sale within the first week, after the customer hits your site, you're going to get that sale within the first month. And the last step, how we're going to tell you guys, or teach you guys how to do that, is you're going to run what's called a drip campaign. All right. So it all started from when you offered them that discount coupon. It's not hard to farm emails, guys. Give someone a discount on a pop-up, you'll get their email. Okay. If you want to make it really, really clever too, give them the discount, a 10 or 20% discount pop-up. They have to submit their email to get that discount. And just to make sure that they do, underneath where it says input your email, put a button that says, no thanks, I don't want a discount. I want you to add 20% to my order instead. Put something real clever there to make someone feel really, really, really dumb for not putting their email and getting that discount. You are going to get that email. Once you have that email, now what you guys are going to want to do is run a drip campaign. All you have to do is send one email a week, or you can even make it one email every 2 weeks. Something about your company or about your product or service. Okay. So something nice. It doesn't have to be, content is content. You just want to put something in their email so that that person is thinking of you every week or every 2 weeks. So if they were to leave your site and not make that sale, you have their email, you can market to them weekly, bi-weekly, whatever it be, to make sure that your company is always in the back of your mind. You can give them additional discounts. If the 20% discount didn't work, you can market a specific one to that person who didn't make the email. You can do this with all email automations on most hosting websites like Shopify or Wix or whatever. They all have these email automations. So for those that didn't act on that 20% discount within said period of time, you send them another email that is a buy one, get one free. Get that sale, whatever it costs. You just have to get that first sale. Once you get that first sale, that person will trust your brand. They'll get to see your product and try your product. And most of it, the real tough thing is just getting your product or service in that person's hands, because odds are you're probably better than everybody else in the industry, big companies in the industry that are competing with you. And in order to prove your worth, you probably do have something better. You probably do have a better gene. You probably do have a better cream. You probably do have a better watch, right? You just have to get that product in their hands. So you have to get that sale, whatever. So if the 20%, 10% discount didn't work, it's a buy one, get one free that you send to the person. If that doesn't work, you tell a story about your particular thing and how you have a low impact on the environment.
Could be anything.
Run email automations and try to find what makes that person that doesn't buy on the discount buy. And then once you have that, you can group these people up into different groups. This person cares more about environmentally friendly than discounts. This person cares more about discounts than environmentally friendly. This person cares about the story behind the brand and how the struggle to create the brand, right? Yeah. Put that person in a box. Yeah. Now you know what works for each of these different groups of customers, right? So this is why drip campaigns are so important.
Yeah. And like, you know, content is content, but once you have those leads, I feel like you can go even further if you care about the people that are actually receiving your emails. If you can kind of like make it on a week to week where you can actually provide information that might help them or understand how to make a better decision on whatever product it is that you're selling.
Understand your brand better.
Exactly. Understand your brand better, understand the reason why it could better your life. You just have to be really creative. If you're doing cream, if you're doing real estate, it's completely different. And it really depends on the businesses that you're going for. But yeah, content is important. Content is content, but like when you have infographics that are very visual, when they're able to see it, they recognize that it's Improved Naturals or Nova FX or Banting Court. I feel like that's what puts you to a different pedestal where it's like, you know, no matter what it is, if they see your colors, if they just see the B, it's like you see the S or the TD or the M, it's McDonald's, right? So that's the type of that's the type of recognition that you want, but it takes a lot of years too, right?
Right.
It's repetition, bro. Yeah, man,
blogs are always good too, because that's just a free thing that you can do. You can get that indexed on Google as well. Yeah. So that's something when you Google the company, they might find one of your blog articles, and you can send those blog articles to your potential customers or to people whose email that you have, and that can help tell the story, right? Like a lot of people want to know, are always asking me, how has Banting been so successful? How did you get these people? How do you have customers in the UK or the Netherlands? How do you have customers in the United States? The blog. I shared that blog around, and I made sure that everybody saw that blog and everybody saved it, or everybody left their email. So now every blog post that I do, it's sent out to, thousands of people. So these are repeat readers now. And that blog really allowed me to build my brand. I think I have 112 articles on there now, and I just went off. I wrote articles on everything that everybody wanted to know, and I showcased my knowledge by writing those blogs. So it reaffirmed Banting Court. It reaffirmed myself as being a knowledgeable advisor. And then that made selling products even easier, or selling services easier.
That's what I mean. And that's what I mean. Like, it's a big difference versus content. If you were releasing article every week and you were just talking about how great Banting Court is and why people should use Banting Court. But no, it's like, you're giving out free information in a way where it's like they want a bit more, and they're just going to keep being receptive to all the emails that you're sending them, because now they know that whatever Banting Court sends me, I'm able to learn from, I'm able to educate myself from. It's tips that I can use on my, analyzing stocks or making the right decisions on buying a stock. And you're not really selling them anything, right? And it's like, whether it's 6 months down the line or 9 months down the line, they're ready to make that decision because you were able to give them that free information. You're definitely the first priority that they're going to approach, in terms of like whether it's, wanting to get your subscription on a 1-year program, right? So yeah, man, it's great. And
because then you're like, oh, well, Dalton's giving me all this free info on this blog. Yeah. He wants to offer me stock signals for $12 a month. Of course. I think I can do that. I'm pretty knowledgeable in this stuff now. I think I know how the market works. I can do that.
Exactly.
And against all my competitors who are charging a lot more and haven't given away that free info or free value, now they get pushed to the side, and I get pushed higher, right? It's content.
Exactly. And there's so many more things that we can talk about. Brand partnerships is huge. If you're able to approach, like if you see, Tim Hortons and Wendy's, Starbucks and Apple, right? All those partnerships, what they're basically doing is they're leveraging their own audience to their partner, and they're leveraging the partner's audience to them, right? So you're able to like cross market in two different fields, where it's like, for example, if me and you co-branded our brand, you've got maybe 500 businesses that are following you, that are subscribed to you. I've got 500. That it just works, right? And identifying that, I think, can really help. And it's the same thing as cold calling. You just approach these companies like I'm doing with these accounting firms, and you just ask them if they're interested in a partnership or a referral agreement. Like, it's just about starting that conversation. Right?
Networking and referral partnerships between small businesses work really well, right? Because you might have clients that are interested in investing, right? And I might have clients that are interested in, sending payments overseas.
Exactly.
So, that just having those conversations, right? Like networking for businesses is so important. Like, absolutely. I can't wait till we can actually get back out and start going to networking events. We've talked about this all the time. We need to do more networking.
100%.
And honestly, the online networking is not as good as when you're, in person.
It's a different feel for sure.
Different feel. Talking to someone, shaking somene's hand, like, I'm here. Here's my business. This is my card. Here's what we do. You can see me. I'm a real person. Let's talk, right?
Exactly.
So,
and the thing is, like with social media, which is a completely different ballgame, but you're also able to do the same exact thing that you mentioned as far as Google reviews and asking people to do those reviews. But instead, if you have social media pages, what you're doing is you're just going to related topics based on your business, and you're asking questions or leaving answers to people that are asking questions in regards to stocks. And then you find 20 of the best posts on LinkedIn or IG that are asking you, what's currently the best top 5 stocks to invest in? You're just going there and leaving an answer. If you can do 20, 25 of those every single day, that's going to be crazy. Like you're looking at a 6-month return on that. I'm pretty sure you can capture a lot of attention, viewers that are like, oh, who's this guy that's leaving a reply? Because if you leave a clever reply and you get 1,000 likes on it, right, and you're able to actually do that consistently, it's a game changer, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be
Just
big.
like leveraging social media for not only, direct messaging. Like if you want to contact influencers, obviously the approach is to direct message instead of doing cold calls. If you want to kind of leave just little footprints of your company, comments and answers, and just always having visual content for people to see, right? All that stuff is important for branding and marketing, man.
Definitely. And that's really what encompasses this whole online sales process. And this is stuff, guys, very, very important. Please like and subscribe so, we can keep getting this stuff out to you.
Absolutely.
And share this around with more people. You know how the algorithms work by now. Liking and subscribing helps us push this message out to other people, helps us all get rich, helps us all become millionaires and better at online sales. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true though.
Yeah.
I mean, this stuff is important and nobody talks about this stuff.
Absolutely.
This is stuff that nobody wants to do and nobody wants to share, but we're actually out here because, we feel passionate that, we can help people make more online sales if they want to run their own businesses. And everybody has a business idea that they want to do, right?
Yeah.
Everybody has something that they want to do and they're kind of always on the fence and they don't know how to do it or how to do a sale or, oh, if I did a store, how am I going to make sales? Well, we just told you how. So, I mean, if you have any comments, I mean, you could always, please, leave a comment, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on one of the audio channels, again, please like and subscribe, and honestly, find a way to DM us. All of our contacts on Instagram, I think, show up on this. So, I mean, get in touch. Let's do this.
That's it. Pursuing capital.
Sheesh.